And now you can see the Backseat Mogul Show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv. It's tiki time at Harbor Cove Cafe. Dive into the tropical paradise at the end of Spinnaker Drive in Ventura with vibrant drinks, delicious bites, award-winning fish and chips, and more. Now featuring extended hours and happy hour. Fridays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Harbor Cove Cafe, the hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker Drive. Visit harborcovecafe.net for more information.
Showbiz is a cruel and shallow money trench, a long plastic hallway where thieves and pimps run free and good men die like dogs for no good reason. There's also a bad side.
This is the Backseat Mogul Show live here on Rough Edge FM. I am R. Scott Bolton. I am the Backseat Mogul, and this is the show where we talk about show business. Sitting over there is none other than Johnny D.
Good morning, Scotty.
Good morning, sir.
How be you today?
I be okay. Jeff is not joining us today. He had a family day planned, and so he's got enjoying it, and I'm very envious of him. So I just wanted to put that out there for everybody so you know that I'm envious of Jeff having a family day. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. So we started this morning with watching some trailers. So I thought we'd talk about those briefly. Johnny had never seen that he can remember a Wes Anderson Good God, man. It's not even a minute in the show and you're already interrupting me.
What happened to the
beep, beep, beep? I didn't want to play it. I don't have a video version of that.
No, okay.
So he's talking about our audio cue for trailer check. Anyway, can I continue now?
Yes, be my guest.
As far as John knew, he's never seen a Wes Anderson movie, and Wes Anderson movies require a certain taste. They are unique pieces of art, and they are indeed art. But you can tell that they're popular because of the stars that are attached. I mean, this new movie's got Benedict Cumberbatch, it's got Tom Hanks, it's got Bryan Cranston, it's got tons of people in it. And it's called what?
Cumberbatch.
What'd I say?
Cumberbatch.
Oh yeah, well, because he has that thing he wears around.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
Cumberbatch. That was a fair interruption. So anyway, we watched the trailer for the Phoenician Scheme, which is Benicio del Toro.
Oh yeah,
looks awesome in it. Anyway, so we watched that today. Was that Benicio del Toro?
Yeah,
I guess it was.
I can check it.
No, it's all right. I'm sure that it is. It's just I'm thinking of somebody else.
If it wasn't, sure looked like him.
It was him. It was him for sure. Anyway, so we watched the trailer for the Phoenician Scheme, which I really can't wait to get to go see. Wes Anderson is one of the few filmmakers that my wife adores because his films are so weird and unique.
Now, real quickly, I'm not sure if I probably have seen some of Wes Anderson's movies. I just didn't realize it was his movie. And judging from that trailer we saw, maybe I have.
Well, let's take a look. We'll pull up his.
I'm sorry, folks. I didn't mean to. Well, yeah, I did mean to interrupt.
Yeah, he's very good at that, as everybody knows.
Oh, it wouldn't be me if I didn't.
Really? Is that a promise? All right. So Wes Anderson is known for Cox Business no, that's an ad. Never mind. There we go. And not all of his movies are outstanding, but they're all unique and good. And even the television stuff that he did was good. We'll just go here. The Fantastic Mr. Fox. He directed that animated film. The Royal Tenenbaums with Gene Hackman. And
I missed that movie.
That's a good movie. Moonrise Kingdom.
Don't remember that one.
Rushmore.
I remember the title. I'm not sure if I've seen it.
The Phoenician Schemes there at the top. Mountain Blanc, 100 Years of Master Stuk. I haven't seen that one myself. The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Three More. That was a Netflix series that was fantastic. Poison is a short film that I have not seen. The Ratcatcher is a short film. The Swan is a short film. We talked about that. Asteroid City was the last one, the last big feature film that he did.
That was I thought that was not a mini series, but it was like on.
No, it was a film.
One that. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, and it was. You can see by the most of his films are 7 and above. That one's a 6.4. That one was a little too off the wall. The French Dispatch, Isle of Dogs, which I loved. Come Together, a fashion picture in motion. I haven't seen that. It's another short film. The Grand Budapest Hotel.
I wanted to see that and I missed it.
Yeah, see, this is why you don't see the good stuff. Moonrise Kingdom, Fantastic Mr. Fox, as we talked about. The Darjeeling Limited. The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. That was Bill Murray in that one. Rushmore and Bottle Rocket. So those are the Wes Anderson movies.
The one, the Hotel Chevalier.
Hotel Chevalier?
Yeah, go up right there. It was a short. That's why I remember it.
I'm not familiar with that one either.
Okay.
But anyway, he's a great filmmaker. He's got a unique style. He's he likes to do pans. He'll set up a scene and then he'll pan the camera from one side of the scene all the way to the other side with all this wild stuff going on in the middle. And that's like his signature shot. And it's amazing. It's just amazing how much he gets in there. And then he gets unique performances from his performers, mostly because the scripts that he writes, because he writes the scripts along with Roman Coppola, I think it is. They give them these lines that they can say with a certain cadence. And as you watch it, you fall into that cadence yourself. But it's very interesting stuff. So the Phoenician Scheme, I believe, is out this weekend, and you should go check it out because that's a very good one. The other trailer, what other trailer do we watch? John, you watched The Life of Chuck?
Yes.
The Life of Chuck is the new Mike Flanagan film that is based on the story by Stephen King. It's actually a novella, I believe, and it's a brilliant novella. It's one of those many times that I've read a Stephen King story and I put it down. I just am in awe by how great it is. And this is another one. It's a little bit like Stand By Me in the sense that it's not a horror story.
Right.
Everybody automatically assumes that Stephen King is horror, and he is best known for that. But he's also just one of the best writers who's ever lived. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, Stand By Me is one of my top 10 favorite movies.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great movie, and it's based on a great book. What was the name of the book?
Not Stand By Me.
Another novella, by the way.
Yeah, it was a novella. Oh God, I used to know that.
The Body.
Wait, The Body.
The Body was the original name of that story, and then it became Stand By Me, so they could tie in the song, and it all turned out wonderful. Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner's
great cast.
Yeah, terrific cast. And Rob Reiner's new film is what? Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that.
Yes, we did. So, and then there was one more trailer we watched. What was the third trailer we watched? Yeah, it's been that kind of morning. Gonna need some caffeine here shortly.
Oh boy.
Anyway, it was also very interesting. A lot of great films coming out in the coming weeks here. And I'm most excited about The Life of Chuck. Having read the book, I'm eager to see how Flanagan translates it to film. But he will, because nobody directs Stephen King like Mike Flanagan does. They're very similar in their styles and their arts, individual arts, I should say, even though Flanagan is a writer as well. He writes the screenplays for a lot of things that he does. But the thing that you remember the other trailer?
Yes.
What was it?
Frankenstein.
Oh yes, Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. We have to wait till fall for that one. But what do you think about that? Does that look gothic enough for you?
Oh yeah. Again, yeah. Besides vampire movies, stories, I am big on Frankenstein movies. I think the only Frankenstein movie which I wasn't that completely, it was all right, was the one with De Niro as the Frankenstein monster.
I haven't seen that in too long to comment on it, but I need to see that and the Dracula with Nicolas Cage as well.
Oh yeah, definitely want to see. Well, what was the other one that Nicolas Cage did as a vampire? It was so funny.
Renfield?
Yeah, Renfield.
Yeah, Renfield. That was very funny. But yeah, so anyway, Guillermo del Toro obviously doing the original Frankenstein story. A lot of it looks new and fresh and unique. Some of it looks old school enough that it reminds you of the old 1931 movie. It's very exciting. And Guillermo del Toro has always been one of my favorite filmmakers. And the fact that he won the Oscar for The Shape of Water, deservedly so, I thought, it makes him an Academy Award winner. And that's clearly advertised in the trailer as well. So that's the Frankenstein there.
The way he goes, I wouldn't be surprised if this was nominated.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
From the trailer.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, he's that good of a filmmaker, and he's, like I said, he's won the Oscar before for a movie about the creature of the Black Lagoon without being the creature of the Black Lagoon. It's pretty close.
Which is one of your favorite monsters.
It is. Yep. And that's one of the reasons I loved The Shape of Water so much, because it was that. And what a unique story. I mean, The Shape of Water was one of those movies you're watching, and the whole time you're thinking, I've never seen anything like this before, because you hadn't. And that's what Guillermo does. That's what he does.
I can't remember if they told us who plays the monster. Or wait a minute, let me rephrase that. Who plays the Frankenstein monster?
Well, let's see if we can find out, because I don't remember seeing that either. Hang on, folks. We're going to look up.
And who plays the doctor? I don't remember.
We're going to get the entire cast for Frankenstein for you right now.
You're right. It is one of those days.
So Frankenstein stars Jacob Elordi, Oscar Isaac, and Mia Goth. Oh, Mia Goth. I got some news coming up about Mia Goth here shortly. The full cast and crew is Jacob Elordi plays the monster. Okay. So that answers your question there. Oscar Isaac is Dr. Victor Frankenstein. Mia Goth is Elizabeth, and some guy named Christoph Waltz, whoever that is, plays Harlander. We all know who Christoph Waltz is. He's one of all of our favorite actors here.
Oh, they got the blind man.
What?
The blind man.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I go back to Young Frankenstein. Gene Hackman was superb in that.
He was. I've heard so many stories about that, how that came to be, that I don't know which ones to believe anymore. I mean, it was like, one of them was that Hackman was a huge fan of Mel Brooks and wanted to be in his film, and called him to see if they had a part for him, and they didn't. So they kind of created that part for him. I mean, there's just a ton of stories out there about that. And I don't know which one's true.
Well, one of the stories I heard was that he really didn't have script. It was pretty much,
a lot of it was on the top. Yeah, a lot of. I mean, there was a script, obviously, but it wasn't like Curb Your Enthusiasm. But he did ad lib some. And that's another thing. Did he ad lib in the scene, or is that just another story? We don't know. And we could ask Mel, because Mel's still around.
Oh yeah. As far as I'm concerned, until I see this one, Young Frankenstein is probably the best Frankenstein movie ever.
Well, I saw that when I was a kid in theaters, and I thought it was a horror movie. I thought I was going to see a bad Hammer film or something. And when it starts, you're like, oh no, this is completely different than I expected. But it was funny as hell. I'll get up.
I was working up at Edwards Air Force Base. I had a 61 Corvette with a rag top, and my dad and I had the watch repair concession at the base, over at the exchange. Well, the shop next to us was the optometrist shop, and the one next to them was the dry cleaners. Well, one of the ladies that worked at the dry cleaners, her daughter would come in every once in a while, and I got smitten with her because we were around the same age. And
like every other woman in your life.
Yeah. And anyway, I asked her if she'd like to go to the movies to see Young Frankenstein, but it was showing at the drive-in in Lancaster. So we go, and I didn't know what to expect. I'm thinking, I'm going to make out with this girl. No, that movie was so... But that was the first time I saw Young Frankenstein, was at a drive-in theater in Lancaster.
That's cool. Yeah. I saw it at the Esplanade Theater here in Oxnard, believe it or not. Great movie. And it's one of those finds that I was walking through Fry's one day, and Fry's always had one Blu-ray or two Blu-rays on sale for $5. And I'm walking by the Blu-rays, Young Frankenstein, $5, sold, no brainer.
Yeah, that's better than the thrift store because it's brand new.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Even though later on I went and I bought a Mel Brooks box set just so I'd have all of them, because I love his films so much. Have you seen The Producers? One of his first movies
years ago.
God, that's a great movie.
And then was it High Anxiety?
High Anxiety was it one of them? That was a classic.
Spaceballs,
which they're making a new one. They're rebooting Spaceballs.
And what was the one he did with his wife?
To Be or Not to Be, something like that.
Okay, there's the producer.
He was also she was also in his Dracula movie, Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh God, what was it? Springtime for Hitler.
That's the producers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that was the one.
I don't think Anne was in that one.
Anne Bancroft.
No, she was in. They did a movie together where they played rich people who suddenly were poor.
But that wasn't the one I'm thinking of.
Well, that's the only movie that I'm aware of that she was in of his. So you must be mistaken.
She was great too.
Everybody always joked about them as a couple because she was, one of the all-time great Hollywood beauties. And then there's Mel Brooks, who's a funny man. But they were together for decades. To Be or Not to Be. Yeah, that's what it is. 1983.
Okay. And of course, Blazing Saddles.
Gotta love Blazing Saddles. Another one I got for $5 at Fry's walking through one day. Seems like they were getting rid of all the Mel Brooks movies. What's wrong with them?
I don't think I've ever heard of Up at the Villa.
No, I don't think that's it's probably a Mel Brooks production.
Oh.
Because I don't think he had directed it, but I don't see his name here. Mel Brooks did a lot of producing. I mean, did you know that he is one of the producers of the Elephant Man film with John Hurt?
No.
Yeah, that was intentional. He was afraid that if word got out that Mel Brooks was producing this film called Elephant Man, that people would think it was a comedy and not take it seriously. So he kept his name off of it for years. I don't know if it's back on there now, even though it was a Brooks film production. But the interesting thing about that is the one thing he got into a fight with the studio was the director. He wanted David Lynch, and the studio said, no, that guy makes too weird of movies. And they said, Mel Brooks put his foot down. I want David Lynch for this film. And so they ended up hiring David Lynch and turned out a masterpiece. So
it's kind of like Lucille Ball. I want this TV show. I want that TV show.
She saved so many shows back then because she had all the power. And Mel didn't have power back then. He had a little bit of power, of course, but he had to deal with studio heads, and they did not want to hire David Lynch. And that was a wise choice for them to agree with him because it turned out to be such a terrific film. I got to see that movie again. I mean, it's one of those movies. And then the other fight was, of course, shooting it in black and white. Oh, what are you talking about? Well, that's what David Lynch wants to do. That's what we're going to do. I got to see that again. It's been too long since I've seen that. And I know it's a great, great movie. But there's only so much time.
Yeah.
I got to watch stuff for, is it as bad as they say it is?
Mm-hmm.
Which sadly we don't have today, folks. But anyway,
we can always talk about ones that we've already talked about just to refresh the new mind. Oh, not refresh the new minds, but to let the new minds who are listening and watching us know about the really what we consider bad movies.
Not always, though. Sometimes we find out, is it as bad as they say it is? I try to find something that the critics obviously hated. Things that I either remember the critics hating or that Rotten Tomatoes tell me that critics are hating. And then I rewatch it and then we comment on it after that. So it's not, and sometimes, there are movies that are good that deserve better reviews. Very rarely, but that does happen.
I'm not going to say the name of the title, but the movie that I really laughed at so hard.
Body of Evidence. I'll say it for him.
Okay, thank you. I mean, even the cast and crew were laughing at this drama.
Yeah. Like I said, I watched it again and it wasn't nearly as bad as I remember, but it was still pretty bad. All right, let's get some news out of the way here. So we've got Mia Goth, who I mentioned earlier. I said I was going to have some news for you here. She is going to be in Star Wars Starfighter, which is the Ryan Gosling film directed by Sean Levy. So she's a good choice. Mia Goth is an incredible actor, and she's been in horror movies for the most part, Triple X and Pearl, those kind of movies, and she's been brilliant in those movies. So it's good to see her getting some major roles. You go from a $8 million horror film to a $200 million Star Wars film,
Mhm.
it'll be interesting. It'll also be interesting to see what Sean Levy does with Star Wars. So
I didn't realize Ryan Gosling was in it.
yeah, he's one of the driving forces behind it. Apparently he was has a story or something that he wanted to push with Sean Levy, and they got together and pitched it, and it ended up flying. So Ryan Gosling he definitely is in there. Let's see what else we got here in the news today. Ready or Not 2 is set for April 2026 release. It's another one of those low-budget horror films that are doing so well these days. The perfect example is a movie that Johnny and I went to see this week, which we will not review today. We're waiting till Jeff gets back. But Bring Her Back. We saw Bring Her Back this week. John is still disturbed.
I am. I totally am.
By Bring Her Back.
I will talk about it, which was going to. I need to get seriously drunk to wipe it from my mind after we talk about it.
At the same time, you said you liked it.
Yeah, I did. Is our resident magician James? Is he a hypnotist?
No.
Gummit.
Why?
Wipe it from my mind.
Oh, there you go. That might have worked. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that today. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because Bring Her Back is grossed about, I'm guessing, $15 million so far. So not a lot of money. But the rumor has it only costs between $5 and $10 million to make. So it doesn't have to go much further before it starts turning a profit. That's the secret and the joy of those horror films for people. So Ready or Not 2, April 2026. I have not seen Ready or Not 1. So I need to check that out.
But the full title.
Ready or Not 2 set for April 2026. Oh, Here I Come. I didn't even see that. April 10, 2026. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have bought an Australian sailing team. You know why? Because they can.
Uh-huh.
So it's interesting that we imagine this. Just take a second and imagine this. There's a sailing team in Australia that's owned by Deadpool and Wolverine. Kind of funny, actually.
I can just see the sail. It'll have Deadpool colors on one side with a slash,
that would be, yeah.
with Wolverine's colors on the other side.
But only if the studio pays for it. It's the studio has to buy those ads. All right. So what else do we want here? Samuel L. Jackson is going to be in a Tulsa King spinoff, currently known as Nola King. Wouldn't that be Nolan's King? Nola King. Anyway.
So it's not going to play.
It's from.
It's not going to take place in Tulsa.
No, it is from the same people who created Tulsa King, and I'm looking. You know what? Might be okay. I'm looking forward to it. So, and Samuel L. Jackson is. Don't you just go because he's in something?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and the fact that it's going to be on. Go back down.
Paramount Plus.
No, that's not what I'm going to go up a little. Stop. I have to write this down.
Oh, I don't know what I just did there. Oh, there we go back. Okay. So anyway, you don't have to write it down. Just ask me.
No.
What are you writing down?
What's it called again?
Nola King. Nola.
Oh, Nola.
Nola King. Says further details about the plot of the project are unknown, but Jackson would take on a role similar to Sylvester Stallone's Dwight the General Manfredi in Tulsa King. So it's kind of like that one. What else do we have here in the news? I thought this was kind of fascinating. Sorry, I just drew a blank here. Oh, James Gunn. I saw something else I was interested in and it threw my mind off. We'll get to that in a second here. James Gunn recently said that somebody asked him, what his inspiration or his intended replication for his new Superman movie was. And what new movie did he name? Godzilla -0.
Ooh.
He said he wanted to make a movie that had big, splashy action scenes, but also a big heart. And that's what Superman should have, by the way. So I'm very excited about James Gunn's Superman movie. There's a new trailer out for it. It looks terrific. And I'm very anxious to check it out.
Didn't we see that at one of the trailers we watched on?
I'm sure we did. Yeah, I'm sure we did. Did you see the toy they have?
No.
It's so fun. It's crypto. Superman's dog, for those of you who may not know this. And he's got an umbrella, a propeller attached to him. So this goes, and so you can fly him around like a drone. So you can actually fly crypto around. I think that's kind of fun.
Oh, I can only imagine what the either the soda cup or the popcorn bucket's going to be for that movie.
It'll be pretty awesome. It'll be pretty. It's obviously going to have the big S on it. I wonder what it will be.
Oh,
you know they're going to have kryptonite.
I was going to say it's going
popcorn.
to look like kryptonite.
Let's see if they have it yet. I don't. It's probably too early still. Superman popcorn. Oh, there it is. Superman wins the battle for funniest popcorn bucket of 2025. Let's see why. Oh, it's a popcorn machine bucket. So it's a picture. I wish I could share it with you folks, but I can't at the moment. It is one of those glass enclosed popcorn machines with a little bin above that holds the popcorn kernels. And on the outside, Superman's punching it, and the glass is pretend shattered. So he wants some popcorn. That's pretty funny, actually.
That is funny.
I hope that's real. Yeah, just Google Superman popcorn bucket, and you'll get a chance to check it out. It's pretty funny. Those things, that's a great idea that whoever came up with popcorn buckets. It's a perfect souvenir for a movie. Jeff was talking last week about the one he bought that he uses as a cookie jar now because it's the Mission Impossible popcorn bucket, and it comes with the keys that interact. So he's got one key and his wife's got the other key, and that's where they keep the cookies for the kids.
I wonder if it's got a music activated thing on it when you open it up. Dun, 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 dun.
No.
Okay.
All right.
That's pretty good though.
Okay.
For me.
They announced that John Wick 5 is going to be made, which really ticked me off because I had just bought the box set for the 4 John Wick films, not knowing there was going to be a 5th one, or I'd have waited. But so now I have all 4 John Wick films.
Aren't some people thinking that Ballerina is actually 5 because he is in it?
No, because he's only in a couple of scenes.
Oh, okay.
So John Wick 5 wasn't supposed to happen, as hopefully by now you know. If not, spoiler alert, John Wick dies at the end of John Wick 4. And, not that proves anything. I mean, look how many times other characters have come back to life. So that's entirely possible. But John Wick 5 is been announced, but the filmmakers and Keanu Reeves are like, well, maybe not. We haven't come up with an idea yet.
I gotta see that again because I don't remember him dying.
Did you even see it?
Yes, because the last thing I remember was it was at least I think this was the end where he has the duel.
Yes,
with the blind guy. And then
he stumbles down the stairs. We already said spoiler alert, and the movie's several years old.
Okay.
And then he stumbles down the stairs and dies.
Well, no.
Yes.
He shoots the bad guy. Of course, they're all bad guys, but the guy that really hates him says, "I claim the right for the coup de grace," whatever.
We don't have to go through all that. He has the duel. He wins the duel. He stumbles down the stairs, passes out on the stairway, bleeding out everywhere, and then he sees his wife because she's dead.
Okay, so I gotta see this movie again because I don't remember that at all. Was the puppy there?
Did you get up and leave?
No,
the puppy should have been there.
Yeah,
the puppy should have been.
Okay,
there.
well, that's probably why I got disappointed.
But yeah, so and then the real clue is that they asked Chad Stahelski, who's the creator, director, writer, and Keanu Reeves about it. And they said, yeah, he's dead. It's over.
Did they play a Journey song?
No, that was a different show. Don't stop believing. All right. So Superman's budget could soar as high as $400 million. Ooh. That's a lot of money, as Mission Impossible is finding out. Mission Impossible is doing okay at the box office, but it's got to gross about $1 billion to break even. And it's not going to get close. It's probably going to be about 400 before it evens out. So, before it leaves theaters. So we'll see about that. $400 million is a lot of money for a movie. And we just talked about, Bring Her Back going for $5 to $10 million. So who knows? This is interesting news.
I think one of the most surprising movies that I can remember was
That you could remember. Something doesn't remember.
well, I remember it was a $10,000 budget, and Rodriguez.
Oh, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, but it was the original version, and it was far less than it was $2,000.
Okay, but it was enough for him to get. It made a lot of money.
Yeah, it did. Well, it did well enough that a studio asked him to remake it. It became El Mariachi. Yeah,
and
or was it El Mariachi first, and then I don't remember now. Yeah, but those are great films, and he's a perfect example. I mean, Robert Rodriguez has his own studio in Texas. He makes his own movies, and he knows that the importance of keeping budgets down.
Well, yeah, I can just see it now. Jeff's movie, First Run. I would say shoestring budget. Would you?
Well, I'm sure he wouldn't. He told us how much he spent.
That's true too. Not a shoe. Well, it depends on how big.
It's definitely a shoestring budget because it's
going to soar. It's going to make so much money because of the two starring.
That's right.
Actors.
The two oldest men in the film.
Yep.
Me and Johnny. This is actually interesting news. They're making a Kiss biopic, and this has been in the works for a long time. The movie is going to be directed by McGee, and the screenplay is by Darren Lemke. It is about the founding of the band, and they finally cast the first person. Playing Paul Stanley in the movie is Nick Jonas.
Interesting. Well, if he's got all that makeup on,
it makes sense though. He still has that same kind of jawline that Paul Stanley does. And you're right about the makeup, and of course he'll be wearing a wig. And he's got a musical background, so he's actually a really good choice to play Paul Stanley. And it's for my money, and having been a Kiss fan for too many years, I think he's a perfect choice. I think it's actually, at first it was a little shocking, and then you go, no, look at it. It makes sense. So they haven't cast Gene Simmons yet, but that'll be fun. That'll be a blast.
Now, big question.
It's just a question, John.
Okay. Little question. Does it say what incarnation of Kiss?
Yes, it says the founding of the band, which is what I said. So that would be the initial.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
So that means you're going to have, besides Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. I've been thinking Simmons. I go, that doesn't sound right.
Who are the other two? Come on.
Was it Peter Criss?
Peter Criss. And
oh God, I could just see him now.
You can, because he's on tour right now.
Yeah, he's been in Facebook. I think he was it him or was it Peter Criss that they postponed some shows?
That was him.
Okay, I can't think of his name.
Ace Frehley.
That's right.
Yeah. They don't even mention those two here, but they're working on casting Gene Simmons. The producers of the film are Mark Canton, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Don McGee. I don't think that's right. Leanne Burton, Judy Gerson, and David Blackman. I think it's Doc McGee. I think that's a typo because their manager is Doc McGee. So I think that's
unless his real name is Don.
And that's entirely possible. Yeah, that's entirely possible. I don't know that. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Ballerina is looking to get about $28 to $30 million this weekend. It's Lilo and Stitch is still looking like it's going to be number one. If Ballerina does that kind of money, it'll be number two, and that'll put Mission Impossible at number three. I think that the action films are starting to cancel each other out because Mission Impossible has slowed down considerably. So people are going to see Ballerina, and it's tough because the Mission Impossible films, all 8 of them, are all great action adventure movies, but so are all the John Wick films.
Yeah.
So I can see how that's going to be some battling going on there.
Is this MI8?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's see here. Yeah, Ballerina ended up with $10.6 million in opening day, and Lilo Stitch is going to be third week on top. Even though the more people I talk to, the more people are very disappointed in the things they've changed in the live action Lilo and Stitch, as opposed to the animated original and the television series. So I don't know. It's obviously not affecting the box office, being at number one all this time, but I wonder what it'll do for a sequel. If people are so disappointed by the story, the way the changes they've made, maybe they're not going to be interested in the sequel. I don't know. There will be a sequel though, because you don't make this kind of money without getting one.
I think we roughly talked about this last week about these live action animation shows.
Yeah.
That some of them, they just said they missed the mark. Like I haven't seen it yet, but not Sleeping Beauty,
Snow White.
Snow White.
Well, Snow White should have never been remade. They should have left that sitting where it was and just let it alone. Because there's certain films that come with baggage, and that was one of them. And they should have just left it alone, and they didn't.
As far as I'm concerned, the best Snow White movie ever was Disney's Snow White.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, it's Disney.
Yeah. So I'm going through here to see if there's any other news we can talk about. If not, we'll take a quick break here. Echo Valley review. Boutique Blu-ray labels thrive in digital age. That's good news. I hope that's true. That means that now these are the boutique Blu-rays, means they're the specialized labels like Criterion probably, and labels like that are producing nice box sets and what have you and awesome digital transfers, of course, of classic movies. And
I don't remember a movie called Thrive.
Where do you see that at?
Boutique Blu-ray labels thrive.
No, it's not. No, that's the sentence.
Oh.
Boutique Blu-ray labels thrive. They're doing well in the digital age. Oh. That picture is just from one of them. I don't know what picture it's from, but it looks like Jake Gyllenhaal.
I saw that a long time ago. I have to see it again.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. George Clooney's Good Night.
You see how that screws up when you jump ahead of things?
Yeah.
Okay. This George Clooney is on Broadway right now. He wasn't in the film version. He directed the film version of Good Night and Good Luck, which was an excellent film. David Strathairn played the lead in that, and he was amazing as he always is. But Clooney is on Broadway doing it right now, and tomorrow night they're going to broadcast the show live on HBO and on CNN. So you can actually watch George Clooney's live play, Good Night and Good Luck, tomorrow night from the comfort of your home. I can't wait myself. I've actually held on to my my cable box an extra week because I'm trading it in because they've been robbing me. But I held on to it just so I could record this and watch it later, because I don't know that I'm going to be able to sit down. It starts at 4 our time because it's 7 o'clock their time. So, but anyway, reviews for this play have been through the roof. It's a big hit, and it'll be interesting to see Clooney take on the role that he directed David Strathairn in. So we'll find out what that's about, but that's tomorrow night on CNN, on HBO as well. Let me see what else we got here. We may be done with the news, folks. We may be done with the news. I think we're done with the news. So anyway, that was all that we had for this week for the news, but a lot of good things happening, a lot of things to look forward to. And Johnny and I are going to probably go see Ballerina sometime this week, and we'll review that next week. So what have you been watching? Anything on the tube that you've been watching, or you've been too sick to watch TV?
Well, right now, movie-wise, no, I haven't watched anything. TV-wise, I'm still watching that Australian series called Blue Heelers, which is about a police department in a rural country town in Australia. It's from the 90s, and there's I don't know how many seasons. I'm probably in the middle of season 5, which is really good, because when I was originally watching it, when it was on Freevee, it stopped right after season 5 started for whatever reason. But now it's the whole thing is on
Amazon.
Yeah. Prime Video.
And,
I'm quite enjoying it. I've also been watching another Australian show called Murder City. Oh no, I'm sorry. Homicide City.
Same thing.
Which takes place, I don't know if it's in Sydney or Melbourne, but it's about a homicide squad, and it's really, really good.
And where you watch that? That's also on Amazon?
Correct.
Cool. I started watching a show called Murderbot. And Murderbot stars Alexander Skarsgård as a security robot. When I first heard about this, I thought, do we really need another RoboCop ripoff? And why is Skarsgård doing it? He's better than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds bad because there's nobody better than Peter Weller and he was RoboCop. But my point is, you think that Skarsgård would be above that, considering all of his other work and his dramatic work and, awards he's won, that kind of thing. Anyway, then I watched the show. And what I didn't realize is that in the first few minutes of the show, you find out that the robot has disconnected his governor, because all the robots have a governor on them, so they don't hurt people, they don't do certain things, but he's disconnected his. So now, even though he says he doesn't have emotions, he's got emotions.
Mm-hmm. Plus,
he's free to do what he wants to. If he has to beat somebody up, he can do that. And he's also very free to swear a lot. And I apologize for this in advance because we don't usually use this kind of language on the show, but I knew that it was going to be fun when he's in a room surrounded by these humans and his line is, humans are dicks. and it's fun for that. So it's funny. It's got a good sci-fi feel. It's got great acting. You got Skarsgård and the people around him. And it feels like one of the new Star Trek shows. It's got that lushness to it. So even though it's science fiction, a lot of metal and chrome, but anyway, it's a lot of fun. So Murderbot is something I would recommend.
Carl Urban was in a very short-lived.
Where did
TV
you get
series.
Carl Urban from? I didn't mention Carl Urban once. That's okay. Go ahead.
Let me rephrase.
Yes.
Carl Urban.
Much better.
Did a very short-lived TV series. I think it was only on one season, or maybe season, whatever. It was called Almost Human, where he plays the cop, and his partner. I can't remember who played his partner.
His partner was great.
Oh yeah,
that guy was. He was Emmy worth in that show.
The android.
Yes,
the robot, and that was Michael Ealy.
I wonder what he's doing these days. I haven't seen him or I haven't noticed him around doing things recently, but he was so good and Almost Human that I was watching the show for him, and I'm watching a show for him and Carl Urban's on it. What does that tell you? Because I love Carl Urban too.
Well, it looks like the last thing that he did was called Fatale. Fatale.
What year?
2020 it was released.
Yeah, so what happened to him since?
I don't know. But he was in Underworld Awakening.
I'm sorry.
Well, no. What I'm getting is I saw that movie. I saw all the Underworld movies for only one reason. Yeah, Kate Beckinsale.
Exactly. That'll do it.
But he was so good in Almost Human.
He was, like I said, I thought he was Emmy worth in that show, playing a character that was developing emotions as he moved through. But they're very different shows because even though you do see Skarsgård faced in a Murderbot, it's behind a shield most of the time. So he's got like a helmet on. So it's different in that sense. In Almost Human, he was just looked like a human until somebody shot him and wire stuck out or something.
Now, which Skarsgård is
Alexander?
Alexander.
Yeah. So the other thing I saw this week, it was a very depressing movie called Mountainhead. And Mountainhead is a really dark comedy directed and written by Jesse Armstrong, who is the creator of Succession. It feels a lot like Succession, the way the dialogue pops, the way the scenes are shot, the way that there are the final scene with Steve Carell driving is just, it could have come from Succession. It's just a long tracking shot. The movie is about the four very rich men who are tech guys. They're tech people. And they're meeting up for their annual poker game. And because they're friends, their poker game party at this chalet at the top of this mountain. It's in the middle of nowhere. You got a helicopter to get out there. So when they're together like that, they start drinking, they start doing drugs, they start talking about, they're really, really obsessed with their money. So obsessed. There's a scene in the movie where they're out there in the snow and open their shirts and they're writing their net worth on their chests with ink or like lipstick or something. They're just insane. They're just crazy people. One of the guys has just introduced a new AI program on his social media platform that allows anybody to make a video of anybody saying anything. And this is causing problems all over the world because some people are using it to say, oh, look, this country is massing its forces, getting ready to attack this country. They're not, but it looks that way because the AI has been created. And so the other country starts to, prepare for battle. And there's people who are, they create things that show celebrities and politicians having affairs that never happen, people shooting saying somebody that never happened. They show one example where the guy's taking a picture of a politician and they change it to a gun, and it's just like that. Well, hotspots are popping up all over the world because people are misusing this technology, which is the problem with technology. People always end up misusing it, and the guy doesn't want to turn it off. He can, with a push of a button, he can turn off that AI feature. But what's happening? His social media company is going through the roof. So he wants to leave it on. So that's part of the discussion. And that's mostly out of the four of them, there's one guy who's like not sure about all this. The rest of them don't care. They just want the money. That's all they care about is the money. They're helping them come up with better ideas to make the money and ways to do even more nefarious stuff, which I'll get to in a second. The fourth guy, though, has his own company that's also going through the roof. He's actually got a device, a software piece that detects any type of AI. So he can tell you if a video is real or if a video is not real just by pressing a button. He has software that does that. He's thinking, maybe I should release that software to the world so that these hotspots die down and nobody gets, nuclear weaponed out because of a fake video. They don't want him to do that. And they're going to do whatever they can to prevent him from doing that. Now, gotta remember, these guys are all four friends, but money is first in their mind, right? And I won't tell you what happens, but from that point, it turns into true conflict. But it's also where the comedy comes in, because what these guys are doing is so wild in this little building that you can't believe. Little building, it's a chalet at the top of the mountains. You're just laughing at how outrageous it is, and the cast makes you believe it all. The cast is, as I said, Steve Carell, Jason Schwartzman, Corey Michael Smith. They're all great in this, and they make you believe that this craziness is actually occurring, and it's all within this little chalet. The scary part about this movie is I believe we're about this close to it being real, and I think that we have people up there who don't care about anything but the money. They separate themselves from the masses. Oh, so what? 3,000 people died because of my software. That's not my problem. I'm making money. And I also think the technology is almost to that point where, you've seen AI now. Sometimes it's hard to tell what's real and what's not real. And it's just a slippery slope that's a short, slippery slope. And this movie makes you realize how close we are and how dangerous it could be and how some people just don't care. And it's grim, but I would recommend watching it at least once because people need to know what these kind of AI is capable of.
I've noticed I watch a lot of Facebook Reels, and also
boy, you sure do. You send me like 9 a day.
Well, yeah, but they're funny, like the ones on the Mission Impossible dachshund.
That was pretty funny.
And then there's the kiss with the pugs.
I didn't mean to throw you off. Okay. Yes.
Anyway, thanks.
Already threw you off. Yep.
No, yeah, you did. Dad nabbit.
You watch a lot of stuff on Facebook Reels.
Oh yeah. And but definitely a lot of stuff on YouTube shorts or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you're listening to the voice, it's okay. I heard this exact same voice on this, and then on some of them, like one I was watching the other day actually yesterday about V8, American V8 motors. One of them, they're saying V8. Then he gets to one, he calls it 5.8.
That's pretty funny.
But and then
that's the automatic closed caption. So that's also
no. It's actually he says.
Oh, he says 5.8.
Yeah.
Oh,
the voice actually says
very interesting.
5.8. And then in the next one, he calls it V8.
That's funny.
And then they'll mispronounce people's names, or they'll mispronounce certain words. Like, wait, what? And so I mean, just
but here's the
you've heard
problem.
the voice before.
You're right. At this point, we can still tell the difference between AI and not AI, but AI is just going to keep getting better.
Oh yeah.
And at a frightening pace. It's going to keep getting better. And pretty soon you won't be able to tell the difference between all those things. I mean, I know there's not a pug that's out there cooking dinner for somebody on a stove, but I've seen the video where it is, but I've also seen videos where they manipulate somebody saying thing. And it's, you start to wonder, is that really, you got to research to see what's true and what's not.
When we worked for Bert, the guy from Canada did that show about golf.
Jonathan Brownlee.
Yeah, Jonathan Brownlee.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Right. Great guy.
Yeah.
I remember the times whenever he would call in to talk to Bert, and nice conversation guy. Anyway.
He's got a new movie coming out called The Yeti.
Oh.
So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway.
About the cup?
Yeah, that's what it's about. The history of the cup.
Who was the star he had in the golf videos?
Oh, it was Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, Kevin Sorbo. One of the voices I hear sounds so much like him. And I know it's not him, especially when he mispronounces certain words.
Yeah, it probably isn't. It's probably just somebody used keywords, Kevin Sorbo voice or something like that. And they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to block celebrity interaction, so nobody's creating things like that. But
unless he's getting paid for it.
Yeah, well, I don't. Why would he? AI doesn't pay anybody. All it does is steal things from the internet and recreate them. So he's not getting paid.
I wouldn't think that he would lend his voice to something like that.
What was it again? The V8 thing?
Yeah. It was about
no, why wouldn't he? I can see him doing a voice.
No,
but he wouldn't mispronounce things.
Right.
He wouldn't call it a 5.8.
Yeah. And it's not just that one. It's several different things, from religious stuff,
Jesus,
all the way to talks about Jesus, to like I said about the I think it was the 10 American engines you should never buy.
Oh.
And this is going back to, I think, the late 70s forward. And other things, it could be about actors or in history, something like that. You hear the same voice.
Yeah, you just plug it into an AI machine, your script, and it'll read it back to you. It's frightening. It really is. And everybody's telling you to get in the bandwagon now and get involved in AI right now, because now's the time when it's breaking. I don't know what to say to that. I see the benefits of it. I also see the dangers of it. And in my opinion, the dangers far outweigh the benefits. But I don't know. I don't know where to go with it. But the fact that you can trick people into violence is a problem. And that is what that movie Mountainhead is all about. And
well, the movie Wag the Dog?
Yeah.
Wag the Tail. Wag the Dog.
Wag the Dog.
Wasn't AI, but they created
same thing. They're faking things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And AI just makes it easier.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I mean, when you look at all the CGI in movies and TV, especially movies, I don't know how much was in what we saw on Monday.
I'm not sure there was any.
But oh God! But
see how you got John's disturbed again.
Looking at Star Wars, Star Trek, a lot of the movies that we've seen has so much AI in it. And when I say AI, I'm talking about CGI.
That's different. Those are different things. CGI is computer graphic interface. They're created for a computer. That's somebody sitting in a computer doing the work. AI, you plug in keywords and it generates on its own. Right. So they're very different.
Right now, the only AI I like was the movie. I quite enjoyed that movie.
I need to see it again. It was one of the few Steven Spielberg movies that I didn't care for, but I'll watch it again and see. In Bring Her Back, the director has prioritized practical effects over CGI for a more disturbing and realistic horror experience. And you can ask John about that disturbing part. He just can't get it out of his head.
Oh, thanks a lot. You brought it up again.
It was a terrific movie, though. And I will say, I don't think it was as good. We're not supposed to talk about it till next week. We'll talk about it next week when Jeff's here, because we want to have this conversation with Jeff.
Yeah, because he's seen it, hasn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah, he saw it the opening night, I think. So yeah, Josh and Andrea went to see Dogma at the theater. They had special screenings of Dogma all around, and Josh said he'd forgotten two things: one, how funny that movie was, and two, how blasphemous that movie was.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
So he said he really enjoyed those. Really terrific. Any movie that has Alanis Morissette as God has got my vote. And the
Archangels.
Yeah, it's just great stuff. That movie apparently was floating around in limbo. You couldn't buy it on physical media. You couldn't find it on any of the streaming channels. The DVD was going for like $200 on eBay, which I had one and I should have sold it, but I didn't. Anyway, apparently, and I don't know the full story yet, but this is what I've pieced together. I will learn the full story. Apparently, Kevin Smith managed to get the rights back for himself. So now he owns that movie Dogma, which is how the screenings took place and why a new physical media version is coming out very soon. So Dogma will be available for those of you who haven't seen it. And it is a wild, crazy movie, but it's funny as all get out, and terrific cast. Again, Alanis Morissette is God. That's pretty good. That beats Charlton Heston any day. But wait a
minute, Charlton Heston didn't play God.
I didn't say he did.
Well,
I just said that Alanis Morissette beats Charlton Heston.
You were thinking it.
I know. I was trying to get out of it. It didn't quite work. So, but anyway, they had a good time up there. It was up in Bakersfield, I guess they had to go to. Or, wow. No, maybe it's Santa Barbara.
Yeah. It's the
close enough.
The coast.
It's up north. They had to go up north.
Close Bakersfield
to see Dogma. But anyway, I'm looking forward to. I probably should dig out my old DVD and watch it again, because
I saw that movie so long ago.
I saw it when it first was in theaters, and then never again.
The 80s or the 70s?
I think I would say 80s. I'm guessing 80s. It's probably 90s, but no, 1999. So okay. It was, yeah. But yeah, I'm glad that Smith got the rights back, if that's indeed the case, but that's my understanding. Because it's like, it's different nowadays because record companies have changed so dramatically. But in the old days, they would give you $100,000 to go record your record. Mm-hmm. So you'd take your $100,000, you go record your record. What they didn't tell you is that you owed them that $100,000 and that they owned your recordings in perpetuity.
That's what happened to Badfinger.
Oh, that's what happened to many, 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 many bands, which is why Metallica was so smart. When they made their deal, they said, no, you're going to give us this much money for the album. You're going to own the rights for 10 years, and then all rights revert to us. And they've stuck around long enough that the rights have all gone back to them. And that was a brilliant move. That's what you need to do, because we all saw what Taylor Swift went through this week with her masters. And some of her fans were saying, well, he should just give them back to her. No, it was a business deal. She signed a deal, must have been with her parents' signature too, because she was only 16, by the way. And what good is a contract with somebody who's only 16, John?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What good is a contract signed by somebody who's only 16? It's not good.
It's not good.
No. So her parents must have co-signed on that or whatever. But that guy, Scooter, I think is his name, he owned those masters. They were his until she either bought them or he decided to sell them, which he could have sold them to anybody else. But I understand she paid like $250 million for those. But they're now hers. And the thing that makes me sad is, where's she going to get $250 million?
Her next concert.
Yeah, exactly. Very next concert. So that's the way those things worked. Yeah. So Metallica did it smart. No, we get him back in 10 years.
I think one of the, I'm going to call it a travesty, was that with the Beatles, Michael Jackson ended up bidding against Paul McCartney for the rights to the Beatles songs.
Right.
And Michael Jackson won.
Right.
And then who owns it now? Sony.
Yeah, well, of course. That doesn't surprise me at all. But why is that a travesty? That's just business.
I understand that, but Paul, these were.
It's sad that Paul couldn't get them.
They're babies.
Yeah.
I mean, all four of them, it was their babies,
Yeah.
especially Lennon and McCartney and George Harrison, because he wrote some beautiful songs with the Beatles.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I get this is sad, but it's business. Michael Jackson just outbid him. Michael Jackson had more money then. He has less money now.
But supposedly Paul McCartney didn't even know it was Michael Jackson bidding against him. They were friends.
I'm sure that's true. I'm sure, but we've been on auctions where they're selling media like that with Bert, and you know how that goes. You don't know who you're bidding against. You try to guess, but you can't ever figure it out. So yeah, that's just business. I get that. It's sad because you'd like to see, your heart wants it to go with Paul McCartney, but he got to the point. I'm sure he could have paid more because he's not broke, but you get to a point where it's like, is it worth it? What am I getting out of this? And you have to consider that, whether it's your stuff or not. Am I going to be able to make enough money off of this to justify?
I'm sure he would have.
I don't know. I mean,
he's making a ton of
then,
money.
Then why did he back out? If that's the case, why did he back out?
He even said in an interview why he backed out. I don't know.
Well, see, that's my point, though. My point is he backed out for a reason. And he didn't back out because he couldn't afford more, because he could have. He backed out probably because he didn't see the value compared to the cost.
Sir Paul, give us a call. Let us know.
Yeah. 1-800.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Or go to roughedgestudios.com.
Yeah. Or just email us at roughedgestudios@gmail.com. Good to hear from you, Paul. Appreciate it.
There was an interview. He's probably done it in several interviews, where he blames himself because he said Michael Jackson came to him one day, wanted to know how could he make money on songs. And Paul McCartney says, get into publishing. Little did I know that was his words. And well,
was that just publishing rights, or was that all rights? Was it the catalog?
I think I don't know. It could have been the publishing. It could have been everything.
I'm just curious. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
But then Sony ended up getting it from Michael Jackson.
That's right. After he died, right? I think they bought it after he died.
I think they were gradually, I don't know. They may have been gradually acquiring it. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. All right. So that's it for today, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Next week, we will talk about Bring Her Back, much to John's horror. And
maybe I'll be sick.
Yeah, John's going to call out sick that day. But we'll talk about that, whatever else is going on. Hopefully we'll have seen Ballerina by then, and or at least something else along the lines. But we'll have plenty to talk about next week, right before Father's Day. Father's Day is a week from tomorrow.
The one live action animation I want to see is How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. We'll see. I'm not a big fan of those live action.
No, I understand, but
at all. But
a couple of years ago, I was trying to find something interesting to watch on streaming, and I can't remember if it was Freevee or if it was Prime or Netflix, whatever. And there was a cartoon called How to Train Your Dragon. Oh, okay. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's good.
And I think they did a couple of them.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And you know what, you would think, because I love Jungle Book so much, that the Jungle Book live action would have sold me. No, it just didn't work. It just doesn't work. They're odd. And I know I sound stupid for saying that with the box office they do, but it's just not my thing. Let's just say it's not my thing.
What about Lion King?
It's the same thing.
I didn't see
I only saw clips from it, and it didn't draw me in, and it didn't get great reviews either. So, but it doesn't matter. All that matters is how much money it makes at the box office. Lion King made money. Lilo and Stitch made money. Snow White didn't. It just tells you that there's ups and downs for that kind of feature. I don't know how to Train Your Dragon will do. We'll see. You know, it's one of those things that could be probably not as big as Lilo and Stitch, but it could be a monster, or it could just tank because people aren't interested. But I think that they'll go to see that.
There was another animation about I think it was a Viking princess who had red hair, and for the life of me, I cannot remember what the name it was.
Red Valkyrie.
No, that wasn't it.
Good title.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if God. Now I'm going to have to research that, so maybe we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, because I don't know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, and we'll have Jeff back in studio with us next Saturday.
John may or may not be here.
because we don't want to talk about Bring Her Back. I do, but
I know it.
at the end of that movie, John turns and looks at me and he goes, "That was the weirdest movie I've ever seen." Yeah,
I didn't know what else to say.
you,
I am just so happy.
your heart was in your throat.
Oh, I'm just so happy they did not have
A post-credit scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I would have watched it,
and been more disturbed.
but I got it without next week.
Next week. All right, folks. We'll see you.
Hey, take care. And remember, go to your local theaters. And by the way, if you like to read books, go to Amazon.com.
Oh, we got past without doing that.
I know. And especially if you have Amazon Prime, you're going to get free delivery. Search R. Scott Bolton, author, and you're going to pull up a plethora, love that word, a plethora of books, at least 8.
I love the way that word changes every week.
Yeah.
Plethora, plethorous.
Oh, I haven't done that one yet, have I?
Oh, God, I should have put that.
Anyway, the latest is Bowling Bag in the Back Seat. All of R. Scott Bolton's books are fantastic. Scotty, have you met R. Scott Bolton?
I have. He's kind of stuck up.
Yeah, well, I know that, but he's got a gorgeous wife.
That's true. He does.
That is true.
That is true.
And she rules the roost.
That's also true.
But
right.
listen, or Father's Day is
Trying
right
to get
around
out
the
of here.
corner. If you order that today, you're going to have it for Father's
Should
Day.
be plenty of time for Father's Day.
Oh, yeah. I showed
And you know, the Brace Heller, get your dad all 3 Brace Heller novels. He likes detective novels. You know he does.
and get the HB Fist series.
Well, he can, okay.
They're good. They're good. They're good.
Okay.
And my favorite, Dead Dick.
I have a 4th HB Fist book almost finished,
Ooh,
but I can't finish it.
why?
I just have been doing other things.
Oh,
I'll get to it. It's
Okay.
called Stone Dead Forever.
Ooh. Hey, go to your local theaters.
Yes, that's very important. Please do that. Go to any theater, but mostly your local theaters, your mom and pops, and help them. Just go to the movies. Get your stupid expensive popcorn bucket. Anything you can do to support the movies, please do. I'm at the point where I don't like the commercials at the beginning because they have commercials, then they have the trailers, and now they're intermixing them. So you have to watch a commercial in order to watch a trailer. I don't like that, but I endure it because I know it brings them money.
You know what I miss about when I was a
Newsreels.
Cartoons and newsreels.
You're so old.
Yes, I am.
I miss double features, which makes me old, but newsreels and cartoons makes you
What's
really
the last
old.
double feature you saw?
I have no idea.
Grindhouse.
Well, that wasn't really a double feature.
Well, yeah, it was.
They were cut down versions of the
But
movies
still,
because they released those movies, in full versions later.
yeah, but when they were first released, you saw them together.
We did. Yep. And they had the trailers with, that's where Machete came from.
Mhm.
Danny Trejo.
All right, that's it. I'm done.
Josh asked me what I wanted to go for Father's Day next week. And I told him that what I want to do is I want to go to Trejo's Tacos and get some tacos and a beer and just have a good day there. But I don't want to go to LA. So
I don't
we're
blame
not going to do
Well,
that.
especially now with all the protesting and all that, might not be a good thing to go.
Yeah, I don't want to go to LA. So we're probably going to go to the 999 Tiki Bar out here in Camarillo. We'll see if give it a try. So we'll see. Anyway, that's it, folks. See you later. Have a good one.
Goodbye.
Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.